I remember. Growing up in Trenchtown, Jamaica during the 1960s was a defining experience for me as a young boy, and the true meaning of wealth, which had little to do with money and everything to do with human connection. The memories from those days are etched into my mind not as faded photographs, but as vibrant, living tapestries of sound, smell, and feeling. The dusty roads, the corrugated zinc fences, the symphony of laughter and music that filled the air. It was all part of a world this wasn't just a chore, it was a fundamental part of our household's survival, a daily act of contribution that taught me responsibility from a very young age. We'd get the water from a communal standpipe down the road, and the journey itself was a social event. You'd see neighbors, exchange greetings, and share the latest news. The clanging of the metal buckets and the sloshing of the water was the morning's first music, a rhythm that set the pace for the day ahead. The act of carrying that water, feeling its weight shift with every step, taught me about effort and reward. The cool, fresh water we brought back was for drinking, for cooking, for washing. It was life itself, and every drop was precious. This simple, repetitive task instilled in me a deep appreciation for the basic necessities that so many people take for granted. It also connected me directly to my family's well-being. I wasn't just a child being cared for, I was an active participant in the functioning of our home, a small but vital cog in the family machine. This sense of purpose, of being needed, was a powerful force in my development. It taught me that my actions had a direct impact on the people I loved, a lesson that has stayed with me throughout my entire life. The world today often measures a child's contribution in academic grades or extracurricular achievements, but in Trenchtown, my contribution was tangible, immediate, and essential. It was in the full water drum that greeted my mother when she started to prepare our morning meal. My mom would often share our food with the neighbors, which was a regular occurrence back then. This wasn't seen as an act of charity or a grand gesture. It was simply the way things were done. If we cooked a large pot of stew, and the aroma drifted over the fence, it was almost an unspoken invitation. A neighbor might call out, "That smells good, Mrs. Campbell," and my mother would smile and say, "Come, take a little plate for the children." There was no accounting, no keeping score of who gave what to whom. It was a fluid, organic system of mutual support born out of a shared understanding that we were all in this together. Today, you might have a little extra. Tomorrow, it might be your neighbor. This culture of sharing extended beyond food. It was about sharing time, sharing a helping hand, sharing a listening ear, and sharing laughter. If someone's roof was leaking, men from the yard would gather to help patch it. If a child was sick, the elder women in the community would come with herbal remedies and comforting words. We didn't have much in terms of material possessions, but we had an abundance of generosity. This constant give and take created a powerful social fabric, a safety net woven from countless small acts of kindness. It fostered a deep sense of security. You knew with absolute certainty that you were not alone. Your struggles were the community's struggles, and your joys were the community's joys. This environment taught me that generosity is not about giving from your surplus. It is about sharing from the little that you have. It's a mindset, a way of life that sees the well-being of the group as intrinsically linked to your own. Looking back, I realized that my mother, in her simple, unassuming way, was a profound teacher. She taught me that true wealth is measured by the strength of your relationships and your willingness to open your heart and your home to others. She showed me that a shared meal can nourish the soul far more than a solitary feast, and that the act of giving freely and without expectation is one of the most powerful and fulfilling experiences a human being can have. Back in the day, our community was like one big family. We all looked out for each other and treated one another with kindness. The concept of neighbor was much more profound than simply the people who lived next door. Your neighbors were your extended family, your confidants, and your first line of defense against the hardships of life. The lines between private homes were blurred. Children would run freely between yards, playing games of marbles and cricket in the dusty lanes until the sun went down. If a child misbehaved, any adult in the community felt they had the right and the responsibility to correct them, and the child's parents would be grateful for it. It was a system of collective parenting, where every adult was a guardian, and every child belonged to the entire community. This created an environment of respect and discipline. But it was a discipline rooted in love and a genuine concern for the child's well-being. We learned to respect our elders not out of fear, but because we saw them as pillars of wisdom and repositories of our collective history. This sense of unity was palpable. It was in the shared stories told on a cool evening, the communal singing that would erupt spontaneously, and the way people would rally around a family in times of grief or celebration. When someone passed away, the entire community would mourn, cooking food, singing hymns, and offering comfort to the bereaved. When a baby was born, the joy was shared by all, with everyone eager to catch a glimpse of the new life and offer their blessings. This wasn't a perfect utopia. There were disagreements and disputes as there are in any family. But there was an underlying code, a fundamental belief in our shared humanity that always brought us back together. We understood that our survival, both physical and spiritual, depended on our ability to support one another. We learned to resolve conflicts through dialogue and compromise guided by the wisdom of the elders. This experience of growing up in a true community, a place where individuality was respected but the collective good was paramount, was the greatest gift Trenchtown gave me. It taught me that strength doesn't come from standing alone, but from standing together, shoulder to shoulder, as one big, imperfect, and resilient family. It's a lesson that the modern world, with its focus on individualism and isolation, would do well to remember. The kindness we showed each other was our currency, our shield, and our most enduring legacy.
Thanks for watching. Please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe.
This narrative draws from the authentic experiences of someone who spent their formative years in Kingston, Jamaica.